Hello everyone and welcome back to another Sims 3 speed build. So this is Remington Point and it sits on a 40 by 40 lot and it'll cost your sim approximately 311 simoleons or 311,000 simoleons, and if it was unfinished or unfurnished it would be about 158,000 simoleons. So this house is one of the first luxury homes that I am building, or my sim is building anyway, for the From the Ground Up series. So I have on the rules for the luxury homes to be 150,000 and higher, but I think I'm going to change that because I reached over 150,000 with this house without any furnishings. So it just seems to me that a luxury home is going to be higher than 150,000. So I think I'm going to go ahead and probably change that to like maybe 250,000 or more. Should be, I guess you could say, considered a luxury home. So this house is quite large. It also has a full basement. It has 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. I guess you could say 4.5 baths because one of those bathrooms is a powder room. It has an attic space that your Sims can use. I put a little bit of an area in the attic for them to do like painting. So there's a small area for them to paint. Otherwise the rest of it is just kind of filled with junk, as that's kind of the way I see attic spaces, you know, kind of are. Then there's the full basement, which has a garage. There's a laundry room down there, 2 bedrooms, a living space, and 2 bathrooms as well downstairs. So it's kind of like a game room, I guess. And it also has 2 fireplaces, which I made the fireplaces fireproof, so you shouldn't have to worry about any of the fireplaces catching on fire. I believe this is the first house I've ever created that has 2 fireplaces, so that was kind of fancy, I guess you could say. I did struggle with the roof, as you can see. I struggled a lot with the roof. I really had no idea what I was doing. Believe it or not, when I'm going into building a house, I really don't have a clue what I'm doing. I just start building and seeing where it goes. So I do apologize for it being a little on the fast side. This house took me about 8 or 9 hours to build. That's a long time. That is a long time for me to sit there and try to build. So to speed it up to where it was at least, I still managed to go at 39 minutes, but it was, at my normal speed, was going to be about 57 minutes, I think, and that's just way too long. I really didn't want to cut this into 2 parts, so I just sped it up just a little bit more just to try to reach. I wanted under 40 minutes, and I barely got that under 40 minutes. So it is a little fast, so I apologize for that if it's a little fast for ya. Because I do like it when you can see a little bit of what it is I'm doing. You know, because I do feel that that helps others to build and learn how to do different things, is by watching someone else do it. So one thing about this house that I think was really neat, which I think really adds to it being a luxury home, is I try to create like a an infinity pool type of style. The house does have a pool in the backyard, and you can see there has a, you'll see it when I build it. It ends up looking really neat. I wasn't sure when I was first building it how that was going to look, but I think it turned out really, really neat. It was probably my favorite portion, or my favorite part of this house, is the pool and the brick patio. So the patio, or the pool area, is up on like the ground level, so you can walk right out onto it. But then it has a lower section that has like an open basement, like it's a walkout basement, so it kind of goes lower into the ground. And that lower section, you can see into the pool. You'll see when I build it. It's pretty neat. And then the basement level of the house can look into the pool. So I thought that was kind of cool. But the fact that it's right there on the edge of the patio to the lower section kind of gives it like the infinity pool type of style, even though you can't make real infinity pools in this game, but you know, it works. So I think it turns out really neat. You'll see it, you know, when I get to that part. I'm not sure how long it takes before I finally start to do that, but I usually try to build the frame first I do make a few changes later in the video. I decided to add, or I changed where I was going to originally have the upstairs bathroom. I went and I changed it, which meant I needed to add like a living space area above the garden room. So there is a garden room slash sunroom on this house. So because again, to me, if it's a luxury home, it just seems like it should have a lot of stuff. So here's the pool, and I struggled a lot with trying to create this because you can't put a foundation up next to a pool. You can put a pool inside of a foundation, but you can't put the pool or the foundation up next to the pool. So every time I wanted to make a change, as you can see right here, oh my gosh, I'm struggling. Look at me. Just look at me trying to put these stairs in. I'm trying to put steps in. Every time you wanted to make a change, you had to take the pool out and then put everything. It just, yeah, it was a struggle. But this is the lower area that will open up to the basement area. Like I said, it's really, really neat. So you can see into the pool. I think it's stupid though how you have the curved areas of the pool, yet at the same time it's not actually curved, so it kind of like glitches out. It's weird. I do end up changing it. I get rid of the curves right there because they just were not. And of course, every time you wanted to make a change, you had to yeah, take everything out. So yeah, the struggle of this pool, it was real. I'm telling you, it was real. It was just I don't know how many pools like this I'll ever do in the future because that seemed like it took way too long to come up with that idea. Way too long. So of course, once you get that taken care of, then you have to try to get all the walls taken care of because I wanted to walk out, and oh, it was a mess. So here I am just darkening up the areas where your sim can't go. I find that it helps direct your eyes to the areas of the house instead of the areas that you can't do anything with. It's kind of like when you do like the apartment buildings in the games where you can skip the levels. I feel that when the areas like that, if you have an entire section that's not usable, is all in black, it's kind of like skipping levels. At least that's kind of how I feel anyway. So now finally starting to put in a few of the windows here. I like the way that the house design turned out. It's very unique and different. And then here's where the garden room is going to be. So I decided to go with the garden room. I think that is one of the store content windows right there. So if you don't have that ID or item, it will change the way those windows look. The game will just replace it with some other window. I really couldn't tell you what kind of window the game would replace it with. I've seen some really interesting stuff. I downloaded this house one time that had custom content back when I used to do custom content. And I don't know what they had inside the rooms, but it turned everything that was in there into a bed. I had beds on top of beds on top of beds. There was probably 15 beds all on the first floor, or I mean the second floor. It was a mess. So it's hard to say what the game would replace it with. It will replace it at least with another window, but I really couldn't say what kind of window. Hopefully it'll be the ones like if you have in the future, maybe you'll get lucky and it'll be one of those tall into the future windows. But if you don't have into the future, then I really don't know what you're gonna get. So, but when you go to download the house, I will have any of the store content items listed with their download links. So if you want to get it, you will, have links to the item so you can get it. And I hate it when the foundation does that. Did you see that glitch where it kept looking like a witch's hat coming out of there? It was all black and pointy. I hate it when it does that. Oh my goodness. Sometimes you just need to delete the foundation or the floor or wall or whatever is causing the issue. Just delete it and just put it back in to get rid of it, because you can't get rid of it. It's like it's the flooring or something that's all glitched out. I have no idea. So just going around putting up some of the finishing touches of the exterior portion of the house. And as you can see, I don't even have all the foundation pieces yet, and I'm already approaching 100,000 for the worth of this house. So it definitely, yeah, so I'm gonna have to raise the amount on the challenge, because 150,000 just to create what I would consider anyway a luxury home, definitely is going to go over. So, but there are a lot of things, I think anyway, with this house that are quite unique. Like the double balcony above the garage entrance, I think that was really cool. And then what I did right here, whenever you put a pattern down, have you ever noticed it really looks like a pattern? Well, if you change the direction, like I just did right there, just change the direction of them, they look a little bit more random and it's not so pattern-like, and I think it's a lot easier on the eyes. So I'm actually trying to recolor this pool floor because I hate the default. Just because I just wanted it to be a little bit more fancy, you know. I went ahead and picked some of the windows with the bubbles. I don't know. I view those as some kind of pool or laundry room type of window. But yeah. All I'm doing here is overlapping some of the Into the Future windows to try to create a different type of design for the windows, which is the one thing I'd have to say that I do like about Sims 3 that you cannot do in Sims 4, unless I was doing it completely wrong. But if you try to overlap a window in Sims 4, it just blocks it out. It no longer is usable. But in Sims 3, you can put more than one window, like these big ones that I was using, on top of each other, and they don't glitch out. It makes interesting designs, I should say. So just kind of working on some more of the landscaping here. I tried to put a decent amount of landscaping, but again, I'm not really much for landscaping to begin with. So it's still, for me, quite minimal. I do try to make a little bit of like an organized mess. It's still kind of an exterior mess, but I try to make it at least look a little organized mess. Just trying to put some of the trees here and there out and about. I just wanted a few accented ornamental trees to be in the landscaping because I always think that looks nice. So I got the plum tree out, and then I'm getting this mess here. So the bushes, the little round bushes, would be the organized mess. And then all these other miscellaneous things being thrown in there would be the unorganized mess of plants. So I actually prefer them to be unorganized, but in I would think a luxury home like this, you probably hire somebody to take care of your plants. And it's probably a little bit more organized than what I would do in my own yard, where I just throw a bunch of stuff somewhere. So here's where I decided to go ahead and put another living space like area above the sunroom. This actually turns into the bathroom. I think that turned out really neat. I think that bathroom is probably, I don't know, one of my more favorite bathrooms. The bathrooms in this house, at least on the master suite bathroom and the one on the second floor here, I think turned out really cute. They're probably my favorite bathrooms. So I decided here on the exterior to go ahead and put in like a retaining wall type of thing. So basically what I do when I'm putting stuff down like this is I just kind of scatter them about, and then I put a few here, I go over and I put a few in another area and a few more somewhere else, and eventually the spaces, the gaps start to fill in, and it just looks very random. And I think that tends to look the best. I think the more random it looks, the better. And I just, you know, for me, that works. Now, if I would have just thought of this fence idea here before putting all those plants down, it probably would have been better. But I decided that maybe there should be a slight fence, you know, maybe help keep people from walking down the hill, although you would hope they wouldn't. But you never know. It's just kind of a safety precaution. So that's what that fence is supposed to be for. Even though you don't have to worry, your Sims aren't going to tumble down the bricks and stones and all that right there. But, you know, it just looks better to look like it has some kind of safety features. So I decided to put a little bit of some outside furniture, which again isn't something I do a whole lot of. But when you have a pool, it just seems like you should have places for your Sims to lay out in the sun and relax, and who can forget a diving board? You have to have one of them. So I went ahead and put one of those in. That way people can be in the basement and can watch you dive off the diving board. I just thought that was kind of cool. So I don't do pools very often, so I'm not very experienced with them. I have no idea what to do with them. I never have any ideas, so I just kind of threw one in. I just thought that this house deserved one. So I'm just throwing in all the doors. I usually just place them somewhere. Sometimes they have a specific place, you know, to be put in. Like I put them in, I did a Jack and Jill bathroom down in the basement. And those doors did kind of get put in a specific way. So I decided to do something a little bit different with the kitchen. I wanted to make like a diagonal bar, and it turned out awesome, you guys. I mean, look at that. That was awesome. I mean, that just looks cool. Well, I think the chair will work. I mean, it placed in there just fine. And normally if you put the chair in and it snaps into place, usually means it's gonna work. So I hope it does, because I think that it turned out pretty cool. So I didn't want the sink to be there, but it was glitching out, so I had to get rid of it. And then of course that wasn't really working. I wanted to put some kind of cabinetry there. I hate the cabinets in Sims 3, I really do. But like the upper cabinets. I probably have to say I hate the upper cabinets the most. And of course the counters, I know I use that cabinet and counter for everything, but it is like the very few ones that are traditional looking, because I'm not much for modern. So it's one of the few traditional looking counters that we have that doesn't have a backsplash. I don't want the backsplash because most of the time I put my own backsplash in. So I don't want one. So as you can see, I have a backsplash put in. I don't want the counter to have one. So that's why I usually go to those, because there isn't anything to choose, anything else to have. So just trying to pick out my colors. Sometimes I hate trying to pick out flooring. Flooring and countertops. I hate flooring and countertops in this game. I don't know, they just never look right. I don't know, maybe it's the lighting. Lighting looks awful. Something just looks awful. But I think it didn't turn out too bad. And then I want to do some kind of fancy lighting, a little bit different than what I normally do. So I put like these glass hanging lights in. I mean, there's a few different kinds of lights here and there. And now that I'm looking at it, I don't know what I was thinking when I put them curtains in. That plaid. I don't know why I chose that. I'm looking now, I'm thinking that probably should have been changed. We probably shouldn't have had plaid curtains, but that's what's in the house. I don't plan on changing it, so I spent 8.5 hours on this house. I don't plan on going back and changing anything unless something doesn't work, and then I'll go back and change it. But as far as I know, everything should work for you. Now the bookshelf and the counter in the kitchen that I did is probably mostly going to be just for decoration. I do that sometimes just because it kind of looks like cabinetry, but you know, it kind of looks like cabinetry with cookbooks and stuff in it. So, but if your Sims keep trying to get into the bookshelf, they're probably not going to be able to get any of the books out of it. So what you're going to want to do, you have two options whenever there's a bookshelf. That includes with this piano here, because I never think to go in and delete the books, because when you go out of town view and go in and do anything in the house in live view, which is what requires to take the books out, it will actually depreciate the value of the house. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that, how it does it immediately. It should do it immediately, if you ask me. It should wait. It should wait a day or two to depreciate. But it's going to. Like, even if you play your game and you decide you want to remodel that bathroom that your Sim has always wanted to remodel, as soon as you exit out and go into live view, you've just lost probably 10% of the value of that bathroom that you just did. And that's what's going to happen. Now, I do take that chance when I do the fireplaces. So I probably should do these types of things when I'm doing the fireplaces to make them fireproof. But what you can do, like I said, there's two things you can do with a bookshelf that don't work. Is you can open it up in game and take out all of the books and then manually put them in another bookshelf or delete them. You can either sell them or manually move them. Do not have your Sim try to put them back, because Sims will always try to put the book back in whatever bookshelf that book originally came from. So they're going to keep trying to put it back. So take it out, manually put it in another bookshelf, and then since the Sim is getting the book from that new bookshelf, they will put it away in the new bookshelf. Or you could just do what I do and use NROS. If you have NROS mods, you can use Debug Enabler, I believe, is the one that does it. And you click on the bookshelf and you go to, I don't remember all the options, but you end up going to the name of the bookshelf and then you go to Object, and I think it's Object. I think that's the tab that it's called. And it says disable all interactions. You can click on that and that will disable all the interactions, and your Sims will never try to do anything with that bookshelf again. In fact, you can't even click, you can click on the bookshelf and go to the NROS menu, but you can't click on it and get any books. So the interaction is completely disabled. So there's two different ways you can take care of that issue if you were to come across one in somebody else's build or in mine, because I am notorious for putting stuff inside of something else. Like I just did right here to make a nice china cabinet. I am notorious for that. So you're bound to find stuff that's not usable. Like a bookshelf, for instance. It's the most common thing, is the bookshelf. And usually when I'm placing chairs and stuff, honestly, I don't even care if they work. I'm going to put a dining room table where I want it because of the way it looks, regardless if your Sim can use every single chair. Same with like the chairs that I put in the corner. Sometimes they're just decoration. I cannot guarantee that those are going to work. I'm not going to go back in the build and change the chair just for them to work. I put it there on purpose, so that's where it's going to stay. So yeah, I do that kind of stuff all of the time. So just so you know, there's very good possibility that stuff may not work, but it's not anything, you know, that's going to be game breaking. I mean, oh my goodness, they can't use one chair. Oh well. So but anyway, this is the main, or the master bedroom, and it has, I was going to have like a sitting area that was off of it. And then I ended up turning it into like a sitting area / closet. So that turned out really neat. I thought that was neat. And then it goes into the master bathroom. So, and like I said, that master bathroom is probably one of my favorites. I use a lot of stone textures in there. So it looks really good. I used a tub. It's not the most expensive tub, but I used it in all of the bathrooms in this house, or all the ones that have a tub anyway. And what it has is like this texture on the side, and I was able to change that to stone, so it almost looked like the stone, the book or the tub has like a stone baseboard thing on it to help like protect the tub or something, some way or another. So I used that tub, and it's not the most expensive. I don't think it's the most expensive one anyway. But I just like using that one because I can put stone on the side. I just think it makes it look more fancy. So there's my closet. I don't do closets very often, but when I do, I like to clutter the crap out of them. So any closet you see me do, they're usually cluttered pretty good. And for whatever reason, I use glass doors. I don't know why. In real life, you wouldn't want your dirty laundry or your clean laundry or all your crap to be seen from the outside. But in The Sims, for some reason, it looks good. So, yeah. So yeah, those will have glass doors. So here is the master bathroom that I was telling you about. One of the ones that I really like. One full wall of nothing but counter and sinks with a full-length mirror. And then, of course, there's that tub. You can kind of see it hasn't been recolored right there. I just recolored it. It just kind of gives it a fancy look, I think. So, something about it this time was just, I thought, really fancy, and I really liked it. And no, I don't keep them windows there because it looked awful. I am so glad I got rid of them. But I still keep the half wall because it still kind of gives the feel of it being fancy. So, and I put in by the half wall there, you'll see the small little border piece. What that's supposed to represent is whenever you have, say, an open shower where you can just walk in, there's no doors or anything like that, it's just plain open, there's usually a little bit of a lip of stone or something there to help keep any water on the floor from exiting and going throughout the whole bathroom. So that's kind of what that's supposed to mean. Even though there is a rug in there, I don't know why I put the rug in there, I must have forgot what I was doing, but anyway, it doesn't really matter because The Sims, I mean, they get water on the floor, but it very seldom goes actually where the shower is. It's usually somewhere else. So Anyway, here's a sunroom slash garden room. I never know what to do with them. All I think of these rooms being is full of plants. Light, bright, airy, lots of plants type of feel. So that's kind of what I did. I threw in as many plants as I could think of that I thought would look nice, because not all the plants do I like. In fact, I threw in a few plants that I don't really care for. So I guess if I'm going to use plants I don't normally use, this would be the room I'd put them in, because I don't normally use them. So just kind of a rug to put in there, I guess, to help collect the dirt from going inside and outside. And now we're moving on to the second floor. So that's nice. The first floor is completely done. As you can see, this is a long build. We are already 25 minutes in. We still have another 15 minutes to go. So yeah, I'm running out of things to say. But this is just a landing. It doesn't have a whole lot. I put in those end tables that look like benches to kind of like a sitting area with bookshelves. I guess you could sit there and read. There's not a lot up here. It's a big landing and I did not have a clue what to do with it. So just trying to arrange those benches there so they look like one long piece with one continuous pattern. And then just throw in a few more chairs here and there to just fill up the space. And if you ever find yourself with having space to fill up and you don't know what to do with it, put in a bookshelf. Or like what I do sometimes when you have a big open space like this, and even though you have things along the wall and you're trying to fill it up as much as you can, adding a rug. I realize rugs may not be the most modern thing to do, but it gives the illusion of the floor being filled. Like it's filled. I don't know, it's not the same as leaving it blank. So it just makes the room feel more filled and not quite so empty. And besides, if anybody knows what it's like to be on a wood floor, and I do, sometimes depending on the location of your house, where you live, it'll get cold on the feet. So the rug is nice to walk on. If you have pets, the hair doesn't stick to a wood floor, people. It does not stick. So every little air movement gets that fur just fur flying everywhere. The rugs help collect it and keep it from flying all over the place. It's easier to clean, I think. So, and like I said, it just helps keep the fur under control. So those are the couple reasons why I like rugs. I like them in my own house. So it just helps keep the fur under control. And sometimes in the winter time, the floors can be a little bit on the chillier side, and it just helps with heating. So anyway, here is the other bathroom. The other bathroom that I think is really cute. I used that same tub again and gave it stone on the bottom. And then I put this like corner sink, and it has two sinks on it. So one has a mirror and the other one does not. So I guess if you're brushing your teeth on the wall, you're just going to have to kink your head to the left there, and or if you're doing your hair over there or whatever you're doing, you're going to kink your head to the left. So I don't think two Sims can use both sinks at the same time. I'm pretty certain that they can't. Like one's going to block the other one. But it looks nice. I like the way it looks. You know, it gives you the thought that maybe you could use both sinks at the same time. Although in real life, you'd probably bump into the other one standing right beside you. But again, it's not really the point. So sometimes I build a house and decorate it just because that's the way I like it. Oh, and now that we're going into the nursery, I'm going to apologize now before we get to the end of the nursery slash toddler room. I forgot to hit record for part of it. So you'll see some of the furniture being put in, and then all of a sudden, bam, it'll all be there. It's because I forgot to hit record when I came back, and I didn't realize it until after I had completed the room. So yeah, it'll just all of a sudden be finished with wall hangings and rugs. The rugs will just all of a sudden appear, like right there. It is finished. It is complete. I apologize. I forgot to hit record. And yeah, it just didn't record it. But I'm pretty sure I got the rest of the house recorded. So I guess I probably could have done without having all the footage. But I don't know about anybody else. But I personally don't like it when they change to a different room to decorate and don't let you see all of the furnishings of that room. and then they go into another room and it's already get partially furnished. Because they've already done some of it, they cut it out, they did the editing to make the video shorter. I would much rather just watch the whole thing. I don't know, that's just me. Like, I don't like it when they cut out the building portion either. Like, they will be working on the roof and they'll just cut the whole roof part out just to make their video shorter. I want to see what they're doing with their roof. I want to see their struggles. Do they have the same kind of struggles as me? Am I the only one? Do they struggle doing certain things? And maybe they might have ideas that I haven't thought of. And if I can't see them put it in, then I never see it. And then, of course, I can't try to simulate the same design. So I just prefer to see the whole thing. So I still try to keep my videos a little bit shorter. But when it comes to a house this size, I'm sorry, but I cannot make it. I cannot build it fast. It just, I mean, if I didn't furnish every room, it would probably go a whole lot faster. But I myself, I know a lot of people redecorate the rooms, and that's fine. If you don't like my choice of coloring, you don't like my choice of furniture arrangement, that's fine. Go ahead and change the furniture, change the colors. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me one way or another. But when I am playing in a game, for instance, and I want to plop down a house because, say, I have Sims that are wanting to move out and because they got married, but they can't because they can't find a house because there's no available houses. And if you have story progression, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. You need to put down a house. Well, I want it to be furnished. I don't want to put a house down that I'm not playing. I just want to put it down for these other Sims to move into, not for myself. And I want it to be furnished. I want it to have bedrooms for the Sims to take care of themselves in. I want them to be able to do, maybe have a gym to work out, or maybe have painting stuff, so that an easel. I want the stuff in the house. If I download a house or I put a house in for my Sims, then yeah, if I want to change something, I'll change it. But if I'm just putting it down just for my townies to use and for them to have parties, if they have parties, I want my Sims to be able to go there and be able to be taken care of. It seems a little weird to go to a house that's not furnished. So I don't think I could ever build a house and not furnish every single room. And of course, if I wouldn't furnish every single room, I'd get done a whole lot faster. It definitely would not have taken me 8 hours to build this house, because I probably had the build and the downstairs fully furnished with 1 bedroom and the bathrooms done in probably 4 or 5 hours, which doesn't really sound all that fast, does it? That is not very quick still. But I didn't, and I went and I furnished every single space of this house. In fact, I was going to leave the attic empty except for the painting portion of it, where I kind of viewed it as they cleared out a spot for them to paint, a nice little area for them to paint. But I couldn't leave it empty. I thought about leaving the attic empty, but I just couldn't do it. In fact, I thought I was finished with the build in general, and I even went and I clicked share on my Sims game. I clicked share so I could share the house. And then I went back in and I furnished the attic. You'll if you catch it, you might see it where I furnished the portion of the attic where it's for the painting portion, and then I'll go to the exterior of the house and I'll kind of zoom out just a little bit. That's when I thought I was done. And then I went back and I finished furnishing it, because for whatever reason, I just could not leave it empty. I just couldn't leave it empty. I just couldn't. So this is one of the other bedrooms. I think it turned out really neat. I used this dresser, and the dresser had green on the front. You might be able to see it again, but it has green on the front, and it's got these pink flowers down the side. So I used that as inspiration for the color theme of this room, and it kind of reminds me of like strawberry and mint. And for some reason, strawberry and mint sounds really good. I never would have thought of them combinations, but that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of strawberry ice cream and mint. That just might be pretty good. I just might have to try that. But that's what this room reminds me of. So that's the dresser that it was based off of. As you can see, it's got the green front there, and it's got pink flowers down the side. So that's kind of how I decorated it. I wanted it to look, so I used whatever I could to get those colors. Now, them ceiling fans that are in different various areas of the house, that is store content as well. I have no idea where they came from, what pack, I don't even have a clue where they came from. But I, again, will have it linked if you were to like to download them. I was going to put a bathtub in here, but I didn't figure it quite right. And the tub was not going to, I wasn't going to be able to do it. So I changed that to a sink or to a shower, and in fact I like the shower much better the way it turned out with the shower instead. There's bathtubs in other areas of the house. There's probably 3 bathtubs in this house. I guess we could do with one of the bathrooms, this 4th bathroom here, not having a tub. So anyway, here, this room, you know, when you're on your 6th bedroom and you're trying to figure out a color scheme for the 6th bedroom, you run out of ideas. So this one is very blah. There's not much color. It's the color of the bedspread and brown. And that's pretty much it. So I viewed it more or less as a guest neutral bedroom. So it's not in any way a certain color. It's just basically a guest bedroom. So I didn't know what to do with it. That's a lot of bedrooms. I was even struggling with decorating it, with furnishing it. Oh, I struggled with the furnishings of that bedroom. I didn't know what to put in it anymore. So here's the attic space area. Like I said, I decided this one area here that has a little bit of a balcony to be the area where your sim can go and paint. So I put all kinds of stuff up here to kind of look like they've been very busy painting. And maybe they painted and don't have things that they don't like. And then like maybe a chair that they could sit and relax while they think and ponder on their next painting idea. And then I thought I was done. And so here I am going ahead and doing the exterior furnishings, which is usually the last thing I do. And exterior lighting. Usually again indicating that I'm done. The exterior lighting. And then I zoomed out. And then I go back and I finish the attic. So here we go, zoomed out. Now I'm going to go back. I moved a couple things. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to furnish that attic because for whatever reason, I just couldn't leave it empty. So I just put in a bunch of different things. I think there are a few objects in it that Sims can use, like some kind of ball on a stand thing that came with Supernatural. I have no idea what it is. There's some older looking furniture. I changed some of the tones to make it look like it's older. Ugly chairs that the Sims can use. Just a variety of different things. Just scattered about. Try to make it look cluttered. There's that ball thing. I think it does something. I don't really know. But yeah. Just a variety of things to make it look like an attic. So just kind of cluttered here and there. Most of the objects I don't think have a purpose or do anything. So you've got a chair and you can paint. That's about it. But anyway, this is the build. It is the first luxury house for the From the Ground Up series that I'm doing in The Sims 3. And it will also be up for download. Go ahead and down in the description will be the link to the download, and here are the screenshots. So I hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. That helps me out a lot. And I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.